to the Cannons and Tomahawks podcast, presented by Belly Up Sports. All things hockey, all the time. And now, here are your hosts, two washed-up beer leaguers who have no idea what they're talking about, Zach Martin and Alex Nuttall.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another special edition of the Cannons and Tomahawks podcast. This is part 2 of our reverse retro jersey rankings. As always, I am Zach Martin. Along with me is my good buddy Alex Nuttall. Alex, how are you doing tonight, man?
What up? Great. That's all.
That's it? Just great?
I'm trying not to exceed expectations. I'm just trying to be like the Blue Jackets. That's all.
Well, you know what? It's better than what they have been, where they give you great expectations and fall epically flat. So, I mean, you're doing a little bit more than what the Jackets did, so I can give you that.
All right, here, let me try it again, guys. Hold on. What? Whoa. What do you think you're doing there, Goon? You really think we're going to let you listen to our absolute gold without us telling you about the newest movie from Lionsgate? Well, sit down, grab a juice box, pause TikTok, and listen for just a minute. All right? Available now on digital and on demand. Ruby Rose and Morgan Freeman star in Vanquish, the intense action thriller that shows what desperation can drive a person to do. When a woman's daughter is held hostage by a retired cop, she is forced to do his bidding by taking out a series of violent gangsters in order to see her child again. Vanquish is available now everywhere you rent movies. Rated R. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming of listening to Alex and Zach talk about how amazing their teams are, when in reality they both suck.
This is great. This is great for the audio content. If you're watching the YouTube version, you're gonna enjoy this little opening. But man, I'm excited that time, man. We get to do part 2 of reverse retro and stuff like that. Just to be able to, finally complete numbers 15 through 1.
Yeah.
In terms of our rankings, part 1 was interesting. We had some interesting takes, but from what I've been hearing, everyone liked our part 1, so I'm curious to see what people think of our part 2.
Yeah,
not a lot of controversial picks. I think this is more of like, all right, this kind of makes sense where you put these ones.
Oh, for sure.
Part 1, there might be somewhere you're like, kind of like, I don't know about that, but
and me a quick little recap of part 1. Detroit sucks. Pretty simple.
Dallas also stunk.
Dallas is pretty terrible. Alex, I think Pittsburgh is horrendous. At me and DM me, I don't care. Their reverse retro is disgusting, and yeah. So it's the Leafs. They're pretty bad.
Vegas Golden Knights. I think they stink.
Speak for yourself.
Too much red makes no sense, but it is what it is. Could have done a little bit more with the gray. Maybe could have gone with the gold. Well, they do have a gold, but you know what I'm saying. They could have done something a little bit nicer. Maybe we're done with
the Vegas talk and the word gold. We're done with that conversation, because then that's going to start turning into their stupid gold helmets. And I really don't feel like punching a hole in the wall today. Okay.
Fair enough. So that being said, you ready to kick off the shindig of 15 through 1, the end this part 2 of our jersey rankings here, Alex?
Well, of course. I mean, let's get cracking.
I see what you did there.
I mean, I'm drinking a bottle. I can't really do much, but.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have anything near me that I can crack, but there, crack them. So 15, the one I'm starting off with, I have the New York Rangers. It's a very nice jersey. We talked about, some jerseys don't get too simplistic. We did talk because you had them a little bit high, like lower, I guess you would say, on your list, not in the top 15. But yeah, if you just add like one band at the bottom or the top, maybe on the collar or the bottom of the jersey, easily could have been higher, but overall, I think this is just a clean look. They brought Lady Liberty back. The stripes on the shoulder, on the sleeves are nice. Like you said, maybe one little more addition of striping at the bottom or on the collar, it would be higher on my list. But yeah, I like it. That's why I have the Rangers at 15. Who is your 15, Alex?
I have your favorite team in the whole wide world, the St. Louis Blues.
I want to where you get this take from. You know who my team is, and everyone knows that you do not like that other team from Missouri. Just I don't know what
No, all this
narrative you're
Blackhawk
trying to
stuff.
spin.
All this Blackhawk stuff is fake. You're a poser. You're like a closet Blues fan. Anyways,
Oh,
the-
so the fact that I have a Blackhawks tattoo makes me a poser? Okay. No.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
alcohol was involved. Anyways, my 15 St. Louis Blues. It's not bad in my opinion. I like it. I think it's a little too much red. Now, granted, I know it's reverse retro, but at the same time, I like that. I like the music note lines right above the yellow band. Other than that, it is a little boring. I feel like there's not enough blue. I feel like if maybe they did more blue piping around the shoulders or the upper part of the chest or anything like that, it would add a little bit more to it. But other than that, I think it's a clean jersey for St. Louis and what they were wanting to accomplish with that.
For me, it's just like I said, it's just the opposite color of what these jerseys were originally, when it was the blue on top, red on the bottom. Yeah, it's a retro. Like they are getting pretty funny with the retro because it's in the reverse part of it, but you just don't think of the Blues as a red jersey team. So it's just, it is what it is. You put them a lot higher than I would, which you did, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, oh, for sure. So for my 14, I have the Edmonton Oilers. A lot of people don't like it. I actually don't mind it. It's one of those things that, again, for the reverse aspect of it, I think they pulled it off pretty well. But it just seems like another Oilers jersey to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not a retro jersey. It's an alternate, in my opinion. It looks just like the other Oilers jerseys. This would have been a perfect opportunity to use the oil drop in the gear or something along those lines. But instead, we're just getting essentially another Oilers jersey. And it's okay. I like it. It's a clean jersey. Just the reason it's 14 for me is because it didn't really change much up. They didn't do much for me. I mean, it's a clean Oilers jersey, but it didn't really accomplish much from the creativity side.
Yeah, and I had them a lot lower. I think I have them like the upper 20s. It's just because, like you said, it's just another Oilers jersey, and I just wasn't really that impressed. It's just they spaced out the stripes on the bottom of the jersey and the sleeves, and that's basically all they did. There's really no difference in this jersey compared to their other ones.
Yeah.
But my number 14 is the San Jose Sharks, and I think these are phenomenally awesome because it gives you the 1991, when they first came in the league, Archer's Urbe type vibes of these jerseys, like Owen Nolan and stuff like that. It's the classic Shark with breaking the stick is basically just the original version of what they have now. Basically, it's just that it's got that 90s vibe. The gray is fantastic. The sleeve is phenomenal. The retro sleeves going the black on the shoulders down to halfway through, broken up with the white and just the teal to finish off the sleeves and on the bottom of the jersey. It's a phenomenal jersey. I would not change anything about this. It's just unfortunately there's so many other good jerseys ahead of this. It's tough putting it at 14 because it is what it is. There's so many other ones before they're phenomenal, but this is kind of like where this is clean and really phenomenal. Like I wouldn't change anything about it from here to 1, in my opinion. These Sharks jerseys are top notch. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, I dig them quite a bit.
Yeah. So my number 13, I have the Florida Panthers, another throwback original logo look. They got the jumping panther, no stick. It's got that 90s vibe. More of the blue version rather than the red. If you played like NHL 03 to 05, they had the alternate blue jerseys compared to the reds of these ones. It's basically what you're getting, and this is just great. The shoulders are really nice. It's clean with that red and gold to blue. The numbers on the sleeves look really good. Just the variant of the colors going from the gold to blue to white to red to finish off the bottom of the sleeves and the jersey. Just this whole jersey is great. Like I said, like the Sharks, one change the thing about it. It's just unfortunate there's so many other good ones. I couldn't place it any higher. It's a phenomenal Florida Panthers jersey, and I think it's great.
Yep.
I have no complaints.
My 13 What's your 14? I have the San Jose Sharks. As you said, it's slick. I mean, I like it quite a bit. I think it's very well done. There are just so many others that I like better. I mean, the one thing about the Sharks that I like probably more than any other team is the color choices.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the color palette between the black, white, and the teal, and throwing the gray in there,
Phenomenal.
I love it. I
So-
absolutely love it. And I mean, the logo is really cool too, but everything about it, I really do enjoy. It just, the only thing for me that's lacking is an alternate type of logo as a shoulder patch. They don't really have anything up there. And then the only other thing I could have thought of is around the teal band on the waist or at the bottom of the waist,
Yeah.
throw a black, maybe a 1/2 inch stripe on top of that, just to add a little bit of a difference. But other than that, I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, that little bit of black, I can see where you're coming from. I don't know. For me, like I think the gray into the teal bottom is perfect at the way it is. I could see where you're coming from. Maybe adding a little bit of black to add maybe that one little extra dimension. But I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think, but the shoulder patch. I mean, this jersey is so clean. I don't really think you need a shoulder patch. Just like I don't know if because we're looking at the Florida one. I don't know if they have a patch on their shoulders, but with the Sharks one, I think it's the type of jersey where you don't really need a shoulder patch because it's so good that it's kind of like adding a shoulder patch would be a little bit too much, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But overall, yeah, it's the Sharks is just clean.
So moving on to number 12, I have the Minnesota Wild, and I like it a lot. Obviously, I think the best part about it is the reversed logo. I love the Minnesota logo as it is,
Mm-hmm.
but reversing it, throwing the North Stars colors in it is actually really sweet. I
Yeah.
like it a lot. Just something about this jersey. The reason it's my number 12 is it doesn't look right to me. And the only reason I say that is because when you think of the Wild, you don't think really of the North Stars. You think of the Dallas Stars as more of the North Stars.
Yeah.
And just the coloring looks a little bit weird knowing it's the Minnesota Wild. And again, this is another one where I think the coloring and the design of the jersey is cool and it's fine. But this is another one where I think they could have gotten a yellow M, their alternate logo, and thrown that on the shoulder patches, and that would have made it that much better.
Or maybe throwing that Minnesota M like how they did for the North Stars N, because if you look at Minnesota's jerseys now, that you're right. You're thinking of the forest green, red, and cream color jerseys, not North Stars. So I get what you're saying. I think if they did the main logo in the chest as like the M, like how they did the N for the North Stars, then yeah, I get what you're saying. It would be a lot higher than 12, but I think overall the whole thing is clean. I think it's really good. Shoulder patches, yeah, I can see maybe adding a shoulder patch in there, possibly. Like I said, I like the whole jersey. If you just change the chest, the logo to like the M, or maybe like the actual outline of the state of Minnesota, go a little bit different in that aspect too. I think that would be kind of cool as well. But yeah, Minnesota, it's a great jersey. It's a nice throw. It's a nice reverse retro to a former team that was in Minnesota and stuff like that. Like you almost kind of think like, why didn't maybe the Dallas Stars do that? Because that's technically part of their franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
But you know, it is what it is. My number 12 is the Ottawa Senators. It's basically just their red jersey of what their home blacks are. But these are just so clean. It's just, how can you not have this in your top 15? Like the bottom is looking really nice. How they have the numbers inside of the lines on the sleeves. You know, the collar looks really nice. They have some, you know, the shoulder patches look really good. They got the nice 2D logo. It just looks phenomenal on this red jersey. I really want to change, like I said, with 13 and 14, I would really not change anything with these jerseys. They're just super nice and super clean. It's just unfortunate with the ones ahead of it. It's where it was placed, but
yeah,
there was nothing I'd change about these Ottawa Senators jerseys. They're just too nice. They're clean. It's a nice red version of their black home jerseys.
Yeah,
it's just so great. My number 11 is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, if you were paying attention earlier in our part 2, Alex had them a lot lower on their list. And looking at it more after that episode, I do agree. Like the white on the cuffs and on the bottom of the jersey, if you shrink that to about half, then you're talking like a top 8, top 6 type of jersey, maybe top 10. But I think it's a really good throwback to like their 03, 04 jerseys. You know, the logo looks really nice. The whole aesthetic of it looks really good. But yeah, cut the white at the bottom of the jersey down to about half. Easily a top 8 jersey, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And like I said, I think it would be cool if they cut that white down and throw like a little lightning bolt design or
Yeah.
a pattern or something on top of it. It would make it look a little bit, in my opinion, that much better. But it's one of those things that it just looks, the jersey as a whole just looks bland. It's a blue jersey, and hey, you know what? Let's throw some white on the shoulders and white on the bottom with a black stripe at the bottom. And okay, cool. Call it a day.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, overall, I do like it because, you know, I have a soft spot. I really like Marty St. Louis, and, you know, with that 04 Cup team,
Yeah.
I do like it. It's not that I don't. It's just one of those things that I think that they could have done a lot more with it with the time they were given, but
Mhm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So for my number 11, I have the New Jersey Devils, and I like the jersey. It's a nice little throwback to their old school jerseys. Just, I think for me, it's almost too much green. Now, before you start hanging me, I get that green was part of their, you know, old school look and things like that. It's just one of those things. I feel like it's a little too much. I could have seen, for me, I think that these jerseys, I would personally like them a lot better if they had red or white striping at the bottom of the sleeves. And not much, just a little bit, even if it's just red right on the seam at the bottom and that's it. I think it would look a lot better. But again, we're at the point where I don't really have anything against this jersey. There's just so many other really good ones. It's really hard to determine. You know, Zach and I, when we were making these, our top 10, top 12 were actually really hard to figure out because there's so many we like, but we had to nitpick these like crazy just because of how close some of these were. Like my top 3 are interchangeable.
Oh, I would say.
I mean,
I would say my top 5 is almost interchangeable. That's just how tough it is.
But yeah, it's crazy. You know, the Devils jersey, I do like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like it's a little too much green, but at the same time, I understand and respect what they're going for, and overall, it doesn't bother me.
The only thing I would change is take that extra white off the bottom of the jersey and take, you know, like we had how you have that white, red, white kind of farther up underneath the logo. Take that very bottom white out and move that whole set of those three stripes down to the bottom instead of having that random white, red, white, green, and then a big thing of white. Just eliminate the bottom white, move the rest of that down, and boom, there's your bottom of the jersey striping. I think that'd be perfect. That's the only thing I would change is take that little extra white out of the bottom of the body part of the jersey and just move that set down.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I'd really change. I love these jerseys. I think they're great. I mean, it throws back to their original colors after they moved to New Jersey from Colorado. It's that, you know, green and red. That's the. If you've watched hockey's, you know, when the Devils actually became a team and stuff like that in like the 90s and stuff like that, you think of the greens. You remember these jerseys. They're somewhat iconic, but of course the Devils have been red and black for so long. You sometimes do forget about the green. And when they do bring it back, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I remember when they had green and it actually looks good. So I think they did a phenomenal job of adding that, going back to the original colors.
Yeah. So my number 10, I have the Florida Panthers. As Zach was saying a little bit earlier, it's a clean jersey. I like it a lot. Honestly, can't stand the team, but I like the jersey a lot. I don't really see anything wrong with it, in my opinion. I actually think the design is really slick.
Yeah.
I like the coloring. I'm so happy they brought back the old school Panther because I think the new, quote unquote, I guess, professional Panther logo, I'm not a huge fan of it. I like these way better.
Yeah. The shield is kind of weird, but I guess because the way they have that striping down the middle, I guess they kind of have to have a shield. But if you think of this jumping panther with the middle jersey stripe going through the middle of the jersey with this logo, I think it would look fantastic. But
yeah, it's I love these jerseys. I mean, the red and white at the bottom, the striping is perfect in my opinion. The gold striping. The only thing I would change is maybe have the collar be white, or even just the badge, the little pentagon underneath the badge be white.
Yeah. Mhm.
Other than that, I mean, I like these jerseys a lot, but it's not the best one for me.
No, I get what you're saying. It's just there's like so many, like, you really can't hang on these jerseys. Like you said back with the Devils one, we're to the point where it's like really minute changes, like nothing too serious that you would switch up. It's just there's other ones, unfortunately, that are kind of better. And my number 10, my number 10 is the Los Angeles Kings, and I really like. At first, I didn't kind of like the jersey because it's just, for me, it's like if you're going with the Los Angeles Kings logo that they have, you ask anyone, you see that logo, you think of the black and silver, Luc Robitaille, Wayne Gretzky, late 80s, early 90s LA Kings teams. If you're thinking of the purple and yellow, like you see with these jerseys, you're thinking of like the original LA Kings when they first got into LA for the expansion team. So I see what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to combine both, like this, like the early Kings team with the team that really kind of popped off to get everyone into into hockey out west with Gretzky and Robitaille and all that. So I get what they're trying to do, but it's kind of grown on me as I've watched it more. I just think the purple, like how they did the purple, yellow, and the white is phenomenal. The one small thing I would change is maybe not have the numbers in the middle of the yellow on the sleeve, because the white numbers kind of just throws it off a little bit, because I guess the outer number part of it just kind of makes it look funky to me. If you move that out of there, or maybe change the numbering in some way to make it not so white on yellowish, I think this would be a lot higher than 10. But for me, it's just, that's the one thing I changed, just the placement or just the number color. Other than that, I think this LA Kings jersey is phenomenal. Just being able to see it more often.
I actually like where the numbers are.
Mhm.
It's one of those things that's really unique, and they're not following suit of everybody else.
Right.
With the numbering in there, honestly, I would change it to sit there and have a white outline and make the numbers itself purple. That way they stand out a little bit more.
That's kind of where I was thinking about that too. Like maybe not make it white and then other coloring, because it just looks weird. But like you said, go with a white outline and like a purple or like a black or something in there. Great. And then or a gold, just a different style of the white. It just looks weird. But yeah, I agree with you. Just make it a darker inside with a white outline.
Yeah.
Then you're talking top 5.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, but it's so great. So my number 9, now going back to what Alex said where he had his team, I have the Columbus Blue Jackets. I kind of like these. After part 2 of our episode, I kind of thought about it more. Could I have put these guys maybe a little bit, I guess, lower on my list? Not in 9, maybe somewhere like in the 10s, maybe closer to 20. Maybe I could see where I could go with that. But I kind of like it. I like the red in terms of, it's kind of bringing it in with the CB logo with the red inside of there. It's almost like that military type of uniform look with the long sleeves down to the collar, to the cuffs with the stars and all that. Like I said, maybe you can change the bottom of the body a little bit, because it's a weird, like, different variant of sizes of the coloring. But I still think it's good. Would I change it from 9 after our conversation of part 2? Maybe yes, but I still think having it at 9, I think it's still a good spot in my opinion. I like this jersey. Yeah. I know you have different opinions on it, but I think it kind of looks clean if you look at it from, it's just, they wanted to do something different. I thought it did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was nice. The one thing about it, like the jersey itself, honestly, I don't mind, but compared to everyone else, it sucks.
Yeah.
The big thing with me is it was refreshing to finally get a different jersey, because you see some of these other teams, they get new alternates or new aways or new homes. And, the Blue Jackets we've had before this, we really had like 5 jerseys. We had our original CBJ logo, home and aways, and then we had our new ones with the star logo, home and away, and then we have our current Canon alternate, and that's really it. And it was nice to finally get something different and something being drastically different.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. Me personally, I love it just because I'm a Blue Jackets fan, but in comparison to everybody else,
Yeah.
it's not that great.
Yeah. The hot take on your guys' jerseys. I think the Canon logo is a good alternate for the sleeves. I'm not a fan of the logo, the Canon logo, as a main primary on the chest, big logo. It doesn't look good to me. I just don't think it looks that great. I mean, I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. I'll probably get Blue Jackets fans in my mentions telling me to go jump off a bridge, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I think it's a good secondary logo. It's not a main jersey logo. I think the CBJ one now and your guys' flag one, those are primary jersey logos.
Yeah.
If they did something, let's say if they did something different with the Canon, like in a different way compared to what it is now as a primary, then sure, I'm all aboard for it. But I think the current Canon logo is more of a secondary sleeve patch to me. But I could be wrong.
I'm super biased towards that old school CBJ logo. I personally, and you guys can hate me, unfollow, I don't really care. The old school CBJ logo, in my opinion, is the best logo we've had, and I would love for that to be our regular logo still.
Oh,
even
I
with
agree.
the other ones, but
I agree. If
things change.
If you have that CBJ with as your main, and then have like the flag as the shoulder, and then swap it for like your roads or your alternates. I'm just saying that I think that'd be a good primary alternate combo. Hey, you could. I'm not saying bring Stinger back, but the CBJ and then the flying flag. I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
that'd be a good logo combo in my opinion. But
oh yeah.
What do I know?
My number 9 is Vegas Golden Knights.
I
hate the team. I love these jerseys as much as Zach doesn't like them. I actually think they're really, really sweet. You know, I love the logo, the third logo, what they're trying to do with the Golden Knights. You have the double swords crossed behind the red star. I think it's actually really sweet. The design at the bottom is really cool with the gray and gold striping over top the black. You know, I like all of it. I think there could have been a little bit more white, maybe a white piping on top of the gray to separate that and the red.
Yeah.
But other than that, honestly, I like these jerseys quite a bit. The more I look at them, the more I like them. But it's still not like my number 1 or anything. But
yeah,
it's one of those things that I personally like these jerseys quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just when I'm thinking of the Golden Knights, I'm not thinking of red. It's just,
well, to be fair, when you're thinking of the Capitals, you're not thinking of blue, and when you're thinking of the Blue Jackets, you're not thinking of red. So it's a lot of teams did that. It's
I get it. I guess it's just weird because when you have a new team that isn't really, it's only 3 years old, you really can't have a reverse retro look. So I get what they were trying to do. It's like I said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You have it at 9. I have it at 28 or something like that. So
like
I think
46.
It's like our biggest discrepancy on this list is Vegas, and it's basically Vegas is our biggest difference.
Yeah. So my number 8, I have the LA Kings. And as we just recently talked about it, I think the jerseys are sweet. I love these. I love the coloring. You know, a lot of people like the black and white. I actually prefer the purple and yellow. And I think it's really cool when you have a city that has a color scheme that goes with all of their teams. Me, I hate Pittsburgh. I hate everything about Pittsburgh. Every team, every sport, the whole city, the people from it. I can't stand it. But I love how every single one of their teams has pretty much the same color scheme. You know, the Steelers are black, white, and gold. The Penguins are black, white, and gold, or black, white, and yellow, whatever you want to call it. The Pittsburgh Pirates are black, white, and yellow. You know, it's every single team has the same color scheme. And I like how they did this. And you're kind of going along with the Lakers at that purple and yellow, I think look really cool. Now, again, as we talked about earlier, I think the numbering, if it were purple, it would look a little bit better where it's at. but I love where it's placed because, as I said earlier, it's very unique and it does not fit the norm with what the rest of the league is doing with the reverse retros and what they do with their current home and away jerseys. So I really do enjoy this, and it's a solid throwback in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, with the number, change the color a little bit, and you're good to go. For me, for my number 8, it's the New Jersey Devils. Like we just talked about, there's really not much you would change. Maybe just take that bottom white stripe down, move that set on the body down to the bottom. That's the only thing I'd really change. And I think these are super clean jerseys, and they're just phenomenal. It's just, unfortunately, 7 through 1 makes it so much harder. But yeah, these New Jersey Devils ones are just they're super clean.
Yeah,
Just, I have no, maybe just a couple placements of lines. Other than that, it's perfect.
oh yeah, just a couple minor tweaks. That's all.
Yep. So my number 7, and a lot of people are gonna be shocked because I didn't put them number 1, and I try not to have my bias ruin or rule my pick, but I picked the Chicago Blackhawks as my number 7. And like Alex talked about earlier, I know you had some thoughts on it. I think this is a really clean jersey. You know, we have in the past had black jerseys, and just the whole thing is just so great. If I had to change one small thing, because if you look at the top and on the sleeves, you do have like that red and white coloring together. If they just maybe added a white stripe to the bottom of the jersey with that red that they have at the bottom, just above it, maybe like a half inch, then you would have like that red, white, red, white, red, white at the bottom to match the top on the sleeves and on the shoulders too, and just do it at the bottom. That's the one thing I would change, is just add just that little bit of white just to complete the combination of the colors on the shoulders, sleeves, bottom. Other than that, perfect jersey. That's the only thing I would change. Maybe just add one small line.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. So my number 7, I have the Washington Capitals. These jerseys are slick. I actually like these a lot. I love the old logo with the eagle. You know, I have some family from Washington, D.C., so I think this is it's really cool because I go there a lot. I've been to the White House, the Capitol building about 1 million times. And the whole D.C. feeling, this fits it. You know, the whole, just, it's like the branding, essentially, of Washington, D.C. This jersey fits it almost 100%. I love the eagle. The font of the lettering and the numbering is great. I love the striping at the bottom where it says Capitals in the middle of it. It's really cool. I like it a lot. The only thing I don't like is the striping, how it goes down and then it starts coming right back up, not all the way across the jersey. Just it bugs me a little bit. It's one of those things that's me personally, like my OCD kicking in to where it is weird. But overall, honestly, I love these jerseys. They're really cool.
Honestly, I think maybe it's because the way the wind is on that, because if you look at it, the jersey is kind of morphed at the bottom where it's like you see a little bit of wind. So maybe it's just because it's carried over a little bit. Maybe it does go a little bit to the side. Like I said, I'm not sure. It's just that's how this picture is showing it. But I get what you're saying. It's the placement of the stoppage and then the going back up is weird. I like the shoulder patches is the fact that it gives you it has that old school Capitals logo where it has like the actual, like the state capitol, or just the Capitol building on top of the Capitals part. Like this gives me the old, like Kolzig, early rookie Ovechkin type vibes. If these were the colors instead of the black, brownish looking ones that they did have when Ovechkin joined the league. Yeah, these jerseys are phenomenal. I really wouldn't change anything about these. These are clean.
Yeah, I like them quite a bit. So my number 6 is the Ottawa Senators. I love these jerseys. Absolutely love these jerseys. You know, if you don't like the logo, pound sand, don't care. You're a clown if you don't like the logo. The new 2D logo, I'm so glad they went back to this. It is phenomenal. And just the jersey, the thing is, though, if you look at it, it is super basic. Very basic, not much going on, but man, I like it. The numbering on the sleeves, you have it right between the two black stripes with the white piping as the outline.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. The having the logo just plastered right in the middle. The only thing I would change is maybe a little bit more white. I could do a little bit of white piping around the collar and maybe
Yeah.
at the bottom. Other than that, again, that's me being super nitpicky. I think these
Yeah.
jerseys are sweet, very cool, and very basic.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where like, less is more, and sometimes it does bite you. Sometimes with like there's other jerseys on this list we've said that like you could have done more, but with these Ottawa ones, this really fits the less is more, and it looked good. That's what these Ottawa ones are, in my opinion. They did simplistic in a good way. Like
Yep.
you said, maybe add a little bit of white, maybe on the bottom or up top somewhere. Other than that, I think these are like that's the really small things you would change. Other than if they like, honestly, these ones are perfect. Like I said, less is more. They nailed it perfectly with the simplistic. Other teams not so much, but Ottawa, for the some mistakes they have had on the ice and different things, but with the jerseys, nailed it.
Yeah.
They nailed it. My number 6 is another one of the huge discrepancies in places in terms of me and Alex because he had it way lower on his list. My number 6 is the Pittsburgh Penguins, and these jerseys to me look so good, so phenomenal, super slick. Just the, going back to the old school Pittsburgh because they used to do the Pittsburgh across the jersey like this. Just it looks really good. Like the blocking looks really good. The collar looks really nice. The numbers in a great placement. Just the sleeve going from like you got the white to the yellow band, back to white, back to black to finish off the bottom of the sleeves. The yellow, white, black at the bottom of the jersey gives you that old school, like Lemieux, Yager type days of jerseys, even going into like the early 2000s look. This Pittsburgh jersey is just phenomenal. It's super clean. I know Alex has said this. I know he said it was kind of boring. I think you did say it was kind of, yeah. I think it's a phenomenal jersey. It's in the fact that, we saw him in the ice last night in person. I mean, I watched the game, but I thought those jerseys looked great on the ice. I think Pittsburgh did it. I don't want to give Pittsburgh a lot of credit being from Northeast Ohio, but I think the Penguins did a really good job with this jersey overall.
Yeah. I mean, I don't agree, but that's fine.
So we're going into the top 5, and my number 5 is the Montreal Canadiens jerseys. And at first, I thought this was super weird, but as the season's gone on, it's really grown on me. These blue Montreal jerseys, because you think of red and white for Montreal. They do have that third blue, but they don't really use it a whole lot. But this one where they kind of just flipped instead of having blue in the middle and the red as the main part, now they just flipped it towards blue as the whole jersey, red in the middle with some of the white. It's grown on me, and I love these jerseys. That's why I have them at 5. There's not one thing on this jersey. I was going to say there's nothing I would change. If I had to change one thing on this jersey, move the numbers inside of the piping on the sleeve where the red is, and put the numbers right in the middle of that, like we did for the Ottawa jerseys. I think that would be perfect. But this is like a 99.99% of a jersey that I think is just phenomenal. Maybe a number placement somewhere else in the middle of the sleeve in that red, 100% would be perfect. But these are just so clean. I love these Canadiens jerseys. They're so great.
Yeah, you'll hear my thoughts on those here in a minute. Spoiler.
Spoiler.
My number 5 is the Calgary Flames. Blasty. That is all. You have Blasty. You have the opportunity to use Blasty, and you absolutely freaking nail it.
Yes.
I love these jerseys. I absolutely love them. The coloring is fantastic. It's super basic. It's a black collar. Doesn't look like any shoulder patches. Throw Blasty right up. You have the red and white striping at the bottom. It's very basic, but man, I absolutely love these jerseys. There's not a single thing on here I would change.
Yeah, the red and the yellow striping at the bottom of the jerseys are really nice. Yeah, these are just so great. So good.
Oh, for sure. So my number 4, I have the Colorado Avalanche, aka the Nordiques. There's literally nothing that you can say. So let's preface this. Zach and I have already both said our top 4 are just straight up interchangeable. I mean, it's one of those things that one day you could feel that one team is number 1, and then 3 days later you could feel that another team is number 1. these are all easily interchangeable. So essentially it's 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. But
Yeah.
my number 4, I have the Avalanche, aka the Nordiques. These things are sweet. You have the old school logos at the bottom. You got the old Nordiques logo right up the middle. It is white. You throw the burgundy and the blue in there. And it's so basic, but man, I absolutely love these. These things are so cool.
Yeah. My number 4 is the Minnesota Wild. We talked about it earlier. It's got that nice throwback to the North Stars. Great old school. Like it reminds you of the rivalry between the North Stars and the Blackhawks back in the day. And it's Cicerelli and all that, and the Hawks had Savard, Roenick, and all them. It's just these jerseys are so nice. Like the only one change, maybe do the Minnesota M or the outline of the state of Minnesota as the main logo. You're talking top 2, but having it at 4, I think a lot of people are going to agree that Minnesota at the 4 spot is probably a solid pick. I mean, you had them in a pretty good spot too. I think we can pretty much agree that these Minnesota jerseys are pretty nice. Like,
I really enjoy them.
Maybe the logo is a one change, but even then, it's still good. They made the logo fit within this pattern. I think it's great.
Yeah, if like you had said before, if they would do the Minnesota M but make it like the North Stars N,
yeah,
dude, this probably would be a number 1 or 2 for me, honestly.
Yeah, like
hands down.
like that N font on the original North Stars jerseys, but make that as the M. Yeah, you're talking top 2, hands
Easily.
down. Like it's really hard to the number one. If this was 2, that number 1 would have to be phenomenally like blow your socks off. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is number 1. This is number 2. Like you said, it's a 1A to 1D. You can almost say to our top 5 is almost like a 1E situation because it's just so tough. Because I told you that. I texted you saying it took me a good 15, 20 minutes to pick my top 5 because it's so close. I
was in the same boat, man. So who's your number 3?
So my number 3 is the Arizona Coyotes, and these things are fire. Like the purple is fantastic, and they did a so good job with it. The fact they had like the desert landscape on the bottom of the jersey, the Phoenix alternate logo of like the moon above the mountains at the bottom of the jersey, just the black, the orange on the sleeves, matches the pattern on the bottom. The cactus looks really good. It's it's not the Kachina, it's just the Kachina head, which is phenomenal. This was so hard because my 1 and 2 made it so tough to put this at number 3 because this is easily like a top 1. But for the fact of who 2 and 3 is on my list, you see why it was hard for me to put Arizona 3. But these jerseys are so. I think Arizona, if anything, if you look about jerseys wise, home alternate roads, reverse retros, Arizona easily best team in the league across the board in terms of all jerseys. Just they're burnt red and white home and roads to Kachina alternates, these reverse retros. I don't think there's any other team in the league that probably has a good combo set of jerseys, in my opinion.
No,
these Arizona reverse retros, that I would change 0 to these jerseys.
Yeah,
perfect.
Oh, I agree. The only other team I could sit there and probably argue with that would have a very good combination of jerseys is my number 3 pick, and that is the Carolina Hurricanes, aka the Whalers.
I will give you that as Carolina as my second team and my dad's favorite team. I could agree Carolina, especially with the Canes diagonal that they have going on.
Those I like that. Their black alternate is just, I love it.
I'm putting it out there right now. I know we've done home jerseys and reverse retros. We might have to do a ranking of jersey combos for all the teams. Just putting it out there. Just, we might have to do a ranking on best jersey combos for every team. Just putting it out there.
Let me guess. Blackhawks number 1. So
actually, no.
Yeah. Sure. So the Canes jersey, I am in love with this. Clearly, as if you're not watching the YouTube version, I'm wearing one right now. I got a Sebastian Aho reverse retro, and
it looks nice. How is it in person?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it. This was one of those ones it was so hard to figure out which one I wanted my number one. I absolutely love this jersey. There's not a single thing on here I would change. And I saw it in the picture, and I was like, man, that is really cool. And I ordered it. As soon as I got to my house, I ripped that thing open. I'm like, oh my God, I am in love with this thing. And it is so sweet. I absolutely love it. It's perfect. It is 100% perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just, there's two that I like better, barely.
Yeah, and the thing is too, it's like they could have gone with the grains, but they've already done that as their alternates for the other Whalers jerseys they've done. And they also had the old school. The Whalers did have blue jerseys at one point too, which were also phenomenal. But for the fact that they went with let's change it up and go with gray jerseys, phenomenal. Whoever decided to go with grays instead of the green or blue, because like I said, they've already done green jerseys. They've already done it with the Hurricanes. In blue, it might have worked, but whoever decided, let's go gray, and let's add the blue and white and the green here and there in different spots, and have the white outline of the main logo. Whoever decided to go gray jerseys, that person needs to be knighted and songs written about him, because phenomenal choice.
Two people with the Carolina Hurricanes that need to be knighted, promoted, made CEO of the planet are whoever decided to come up with the design for this jersey and their social media manager for Twitter.
The social media manager who runs the Carolina Hurricanes Twitter account, I salute you, and I need to buy you a beer, because I follow the Hurricanes on Twitter on my personal, along with the Blackhawks and a couple other teams. Always a good time talking to the Carolina rep.
Yeah,
whoever runs that account, I salute you.
Yeah. So up in our top two, my number two is the Montreal Canadiens.
Of course.
The Habs. I love these things. I am impartial to the Habs. Like, they are my closet Canadian team, my 1B team, past the Blue Jackets. I mean, I've got a thing, dude. I've loved Carey Price forever. And then I loved Josh Anderson when he was with the Blue Jackets. He got traded. It sucked, but it was like, hey, well, he's kind of going to my second favorite team. So I have no problem with it. And initially, we talked about this earlier. It's the very first time I saw these jerseys. Immediately, I was like, oh my God, these are weird. I don't know if I like these or not. Because forever, the Canadians, you think of the old school red and white jersey.
You have
original red and white jersey.
You have a Carey Price one on your rack behind you. It's
and it's one of those things that, that's what you think of, not blue. And it's one of those things that it's really not even a third color. And as soon as you see it, and you're like, this is weird. But the more I've seen it, the more I've watched it in games, I love this thing. I absolutely love it. I think this jersey is awesome. Since the Canadians don't really do alternate jerseys. They have their home and their away, and that's really it. They don't change much up at all. And it's refreshing to see something different. And they actually nailed it, in my opinion. I love this jersey 100%.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I have nothing you would change on this. Like I said, maybe do a number placement. Other than that, perfect. My number two, we just talked about it. Carolina Hurricanes, aka Hartford Whalers, aka this person needs to get knighted, because like we just talked about 30 seconds ago, I would change absolutely nothing about these jerseys. Whoever my number one is, it made it really hard for me to put Carolina at number two, but yeah, these are just gotta give you a golf clap. Just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Change nothing about this jersey. So Alex, are you ready to reveal our number one reverse retro jerseys to our fans? Are you ready?
Yeah. So
my number one
is the Halifax Highlanders.
It is the Colorado Avalanche, aka the Quebec Nordiques, aka the Colorado Nordiques. These jerseys are just phenomenal. The fleur-de-lis at the bottom in the burgundy instead of the original blue. It's a nice touch. Like they got the fleur-de-lis back, but they did it in the Colorado Avalanche burgundy. Phenomenal job. The igloo as the main logo, made instead of like that red of the original Nordiques. Like I said, match the burgundy with that in the stick. The collar looks phenomenal. The numbers look great with the blue and with the red outline. And it's just the red stripe at the bottom of the jerseys. It's like we talked about. You had them at 4. I had them at 1. This was definitely a tough situation. 1A to 1D, 1E even. These Avalanche jerseys are just. These are just. That's why you said this is so hard for me to put with the Hurricanes in Arizona. It was so tough. But these Avalanche jerseys for me, they're phenomenal. Nothing I change. Just like with Carolina and Arizona, changed absolutely nothing about them. It's just which one that I like at that moment when we put our list together. Colorado just came out on top.
Yeah.
It's just how it was, unfortunately. It's just it is what it is. I could my whole top 3 could change tomorrow if you asked me.
I mean, like I have Colorado at number 4. Honestly, I could see a jersey in person tomorrow and immediately it would change. And it could be, oh, dude, that's my number 1 because that thing is sweet in person. But
if someone gifted me an Arizona Coyotes or a Carolina Hurricanes jersey tomorrow, easily one of those would go to number 1 if I got one of those in person because that's just how phenomenal they are.
Speaking of that team in the Southwest, my number 1 is the Arizona Coyotes. These things are, dude, they're just magic.
So clean.
I absolutely love these things. I mean, it's throwing the Kachina head in the middle is dope. Having like the little sand scene in the desert at the bottom, you have the cactus and the moon. It's dope. There's literally, this jersey is so cool, so sweet. I absolutely love this thing. I mean, this is for those of you wondering, since the day I saw this jersey, I have been trying to find one to buy. And I don't care what price, honestly. This is a jersey I want to buy. And I have not been able to find it. It is nearly impossible to find.
Yeah, because everyone in Arizona probably sold it out because
it's ridiculous. Like I was able to find one of their alternate Kachina jerseys. I had to buy it from a Dick's Sporting Goods in Phoenix, and they just happened to have my size. And the same thing with my Whalers jersey that I ended up finding it from a Dick's in somewhere, I think in Raleigh or just outside of Raleigh. Yeah. And I was like, dude, order this. Just throw it in the cart and order it right now. I don't even care. And it's one of those things like this is the one reverse retro I have actively been looking for. I absolutely am in love with this jersey. Seeing their normal color scheme of having that, like burnt red, burgundy type jersey, and then they're away, and then they're Kachina. You don't see purple at all. And the one thing, they introduced a new color, and they absolutely nailed it. It is the perfect shade. Dude, this jersey is amazing.
Especially with the black stripe, and then you go into the desert orange, not orange, not like Oilers orange, desert orange.
Yeah, it's like that orange and sand color.
That's why it was so hard for me to put this at 3. This was 3, and I'm like I said, if someone gifted me this jersey, automatically number 1. Carolina, automatically number 1. This jersey is so perfect. Because if you look at the Kachina and you look at the Moon alternate logo, they do have the purple in there. So you kind of get the hint like, okay, there is some purple, but you would never think, oh, they're going to go with purple as their main. And they did with these. And it's just like, whoever is the jersey designers in Arizona, someone better be paying you really good money because I don't think Arizona has not come up with a really fire jersey. Yep. Like all of them are just phenomenal. Like I said, Arizona and Carolina easily would duke it out for who has the best home road alternate reverse retros in the game. Like honestly, I'm putting this out right now. I'm advocating we might need to do a jersey combo ranking of all the teams with all their designs because I think Arizona and Carolina might have a fight for 1 or 2. Yeah. In my opinion, for best combo jerseys in the league. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm advocating for it.
Oh, for sure. Zach, dude,
There it
pretty
is.
Sweet, man. There it is.
Yeah,
Those are. I mean, general consensus. The Avalanche and the Coyotes and the Whalers are all really sweet, and Detroit sucks.
Dallas also stings.
Yeah, that's about it. Honestly,
Yeah, maybe one or two discrepancies, and like I think it was Pittsburgh and
Pittsburgh and Vegas.
Tampa too a little bit. I would say I think the most egregious number differences was Vegas and Pittsburgh. It is what it is. It's our personal preference of our rankings. Other than that, we were pretty much on top of. We had a lot of ones that were kind of close together, maybe no more than 6 numbers apart at best. And once we hit the top 10, we were pretty much somewhat on board. Other than me having Columbus at 9 and Pittsburgh at 6. I think our lists are pretty. I think we did a pretty good job on our list, in my opinion. Especially when we hit the top 5, we were pretty much almost spot on in our top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but this was a lot of fun, man. Going through all the reverse retros, just looking at the jerseys, seeing which ones we like better. Like we said, the top 10. I would say even the top. I think the top 10 wasn't as hard. Top 5 was probably the hardest.
Yeah,
for me to do, especially the top 3. I think the top 3 took me a good half hour.
It definitely took
top 3.
Definitely took some serious nitpicking at
for sure
the stupidest details.
Yeah, it's, like you said, you had Colorado at 4. You could easily put them number 1 as of today. I would put, like I said, I had Minnesota at 4. Do maybe one little logo difference. You're talking top 2. It is what it is. Yeah. But Carolina, man, they did a good job. Arizona, really good job. Colorado, another good job. It was tough.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Cannons and Tomahawks podcast, which is our part 2 of the reverse retro jersey rankings. You can find us obviously on Twitter at Cannon Hawks Pod. You can also find us at Facebook at Cannons Tomahawks podcast. You can also find us on Instagram as well as YouTube. Please go subscribe to our YouTube. We're going to be doing a lot more live streams, bringing a lot more content. We're starting to dive into all the Canadian hockey. We're going to start hitting some Russian hockey. It's going to be sweet. Here at Cannons Tomahawks, we're not all about the NHL. We're about literally everything hockey, no matter what.
Exactly.
And quick disclaimer here. I am throwing this in there. The new Mighty Ducks series on Disney Plus is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And that's all I will say about that. But anyways, guys, Zach, why don't you let the beautiful people out there know where they can find you in the world of the social media and the tweeters?
You can find me at CLA Zach on Twitter. That's basically about it, because I'm not really on Facebook or Instagram very much. If you want to talk to me about sports, CLA Zach, hit me with the DM, hit me in my mentions, tell me I'm wrong, or tell me I'm right. I mean, just let me know what you think. I'll interact with you.
Yeah.
Alex, where can they find you on the Twitterverse?
You can find me in the tweet world at @anuddle_CBT. If you're watching, it's right here. That way I don't have to spell it out. But until next time, y'all, I'm Alex. That's Zach. And Zach, please do me a favor and let these people know what the heck we're all about here at Cannons and Tomahawks podcast.
We are all about beer, food, and hockey. See you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the Cannons and Tomahawks podcast, presented by Belly Up Sports. Beer, food, and hockey.